Are you using Rollups to their full potential? Whether you're brand new to Rollups or whether you already have some experience, understanding the mechanics of how they work will unlock a lot of uses for you in Airtable. For this example tutorial, I'm going to pretend that we are one of my favorite educators, Miss Excel. So we're going to pretend to be Miss Excel, selling our courses online and then tracking them through our Airtable database. I've got a base here with two different tables. The first has all of the courses I'm selling and then the price, the full price for each course. The second table has all of the orders that have been placed. So this is what course the person bought, whether they had a discount, and the resulting price after the discount, and then the date that they purchased the product. And the first thing that we need to do when we create a rollup is to link the two tables together. So you can see here that the course column has all of the courses. This is the exact same name that matches the first column in this table, right? All these different courses. And so if I go back into the orders table and change the field type from a single line select to link to another record, and then I want to link to courses, I'm going to untoggle this box here because I just want to link to one record at a time, just one course per order. So I'll click save, convert, and now you can see that these all turned blue because they are linked back to courses. If we go back into the course table, you can see we've got all of the orders associated with each course. And because we've linked them together, we can now look up values in the orders table that are related to each course. So for example, let's create a lookup field. So I'm going to change this field type to a lookup. And then in our lookup, we want to look up the orders table, right? That's our orders table that's linked. And then we want to look up, let's say, the purchase price. If I hit save here, what I end up with is a long list of comma separated values of all the purchase prices of all the courses associated with each course respectively. So this is a list of all the prices from the accelerator course, etc. Generally, it makes sense to use a lookup when you're only going to end up with one value here. A rollup works functionally the same exact way a lookup does, but it allows us to use functions and write formulas on top of that. So to illustrate how similar they are, I'm going to hide this lookup field. If I open this up, create a rollup field, and then just like the lookup, we are going to go to the orders table and then pick purchase price here. And it allows us to then write a formula and use functions in this window. Before I do that though, I'm just going to type the word values here. So values, this word represents all of the information, all of the values that we're pulling in from the rollup. So I'm going to use a function here, but if I were to just hit save right now, what I end up with is the exact same thing I ended up with the lookup, right? This is just a list of comma separated values. But I can then go back in here, and instead of having just values by itself, I can write sum values. And then when I hit save here, I get the total sales per course. And of course, I don't have to just sum it. I could average the values or count them, perform all kinds of different functions here. So that's how we use numbers with a rollup. For the next example, I want to work with a date. So for example, I want to know when the date of the most recent sale was. So if I open up this column and convert it to a rollup, from the orders table, I'm going to pick the date. So the order date. And here I'm going to use the max function. So max takes the highest value returned in that array or the comma separated list of numbers. And if you're working with dates, that means the latest date. So I hit save here, I now get the date of the most recent sale. And the last data type that we can use a rollup with is text. So for example, let's say that every week I want to generate a list of all the orders that I sold per course. And I need to email that to someone or something like that. So I need something that I can copy and paste into my email client. So I'm going to open this up here and turn this into a rollup. And then I'm going to pick the order and the date field. This is a field in the orders table that just says the order number and the date. And what I want to do is have a nice long list. And I know that if I just typed values here, what I would get would be a comma separated list of all those pieces of text, right? But I don't want that. That's going to be really confusing and horrible to look at. What I want is a nice list, of everyone on a line. And so the way I can do that is by using an array join formula. So right here, if I just said array join values, this is actually still going to give us the same thing, comma separated. And it's kind of funny because in the documentation, it doesn't actually tell us we can do this. But if we put a comma here, and then within quotations, we put a \n, and then hit save, what we end up with is a list of all of our orders separated by lines. And you can use that array join formula and separate each value with anything that you want. So it could be a line, could be a comma, could be a $sign, whatever. So speaking of these array formulas, one other array formula that's super useful is the ARRAYUNIQUE formula. So let's say, for example, that I want to know all of the different discount types that I've used per course. So sometimes when I sell a course, I do a 50% discount. Sometimes I do 20. I've got this, you can see in here, seasonal 20. Sometimes there's no discount at all. And what I want to know is, I don't want to get this long list of, discount 20, discount 20, discount 20. I just want to know the unique values, whether I gave the 50% discount for the accelerator at all. So I'll create a rollup to do that, pick the discount field, and then we can use the ARRAYUNIQUE formula to just show us the unique values. So we can see here that we've sold the accelerator with no discount, with 50% and 20, but for the advanced accelerator, we've always sold with a discount. We've never sold full priced courses. All right, the last thing I want to show you is that we can actually write full formulas within a rollup. So in our example, you can see that I've used lots of different discounts for each of these courses. But really what I want to know when I'm going over my numbers is not the individual discounts that I've given, but what's the total discount that I've given for all of it. So like I've got my total sales here, and if I had just sold everything for full price, what would it have been? And then what's the discount off of that? So let's get rid of some of these fields here so that we can make this a little bit easier to look at. And we'll set up our roll up here. So this is going to pull from the purchase price. Okay, so what's the math we want to do here? I think we want to get the average purchase price for all of the courses that we've sold so far. And then we want to divide that by the full price to get the percentage of the full value that we've sold. And then if I'm remembering my high school math right, we're going to take 1 minus that amount to get the inverse of that. So let's say 1 minus, and then within parentheses, we'll say average of the values divided by full price. And you might notice here that usually if we were in a formula field, Airtable would be guessing the full price value, right? Because it knows that there's a field called full price. And they don't have it set up like this. They don't have the rollup field set up to guess it like that. So they are making it a little harder for you. And so what I actually need to do, because this is 2 words, not 1 word, is I need to put it in brackets. So then I'll write the full field name here. And so now that we've done this and we've got the full value, it turns purple. So you'll know that you actually have a working field reference here when it turns purple. And last, we need to make sure that we're going to output a percentage here. Hit save. And all right, that is our total discount per course. And I will say that I think there's a kind of a good reason why Airtable makes it harder to write formulas within a rollup field, because I don't think there are really many cases where you need to do that. You could almost just as easily just average the values in this column and then put a formula field right next to it that then makes the formula that we wrote and references the averaged values. And often that's going to be a better way to do it, because then, I don't know, if you have an error or later on you want to change it, you can go back and kind of see your work laid out a little more clearly. So I think there's a good reason why they do it that way. But it's also nice to know that you can condense it all into one field when you need to. So that's my roundup of the most important things to know about rollup fields. If you enjoyed this video, you will love watching these videos here. And since we've been covering this Miss Excel thing, what do you think? Should I make a course? And if I did, what should I make it about? Let me know in the comments, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.